Welcome to Keyhole Conversations. I'm Bonnie Myrick, your host. We have Colleen Kelly Johnston with us today reading her poetry. Thank you for joining us, Colleen.
My pleasure. Yesterday at Moher. Moher is the great wall of the stone on the west side of Ireland, overhangs the cliffs of Moher. I took a little lunch down to the cliffs today. Some cheese and apple, bread and wine. With time to spare, I thought of you. The smile that turned the corners of your eyes, your wind-stroked hair, the cottage that we shared in Donegal. You said, "Don't worry, Agra. I'll come back when the fuchsias bloom around St. Matthew's Church." The fuchsias bloomed last night, but you weren't here. In Kerry's Ring, the coarse grass mats the hills, an emerald carpet studded here and there with stone. Wildflowers bloom in lavish ancient mounds with pastel gems. The sheep roam in the lanes between the cars. Some ring forts now are all that's left, you teased, where once Danann ruled, and maybe they still hide between the hills. You told me we'd come back in spring, and when the fairies dance the rings. The Dinashi will dance no more, for you are gone. The waves beat endlessly against cold shores, where Galway Bay intrudes the sea. And then I sit, and here I sit, with apple bits and pale chablis. Will west winds part? Will sulkies bring me word you think of me? Armada spirits find your crook in the rocks? The burren lies as barren as my heart. But still it has its flowers. Mine are gone. I threw them off the cliffs the night the banshee wailed. That poem illustrates a lot of the legends of the west coast of Ireland. The Selkies, of course, are the people that transfer from seal to human beings. If you capture one, you're very lucky. And the Armada spirits are the spirits of the Spanish Armada said to inhabit the coast. This is another poem, not of Ireland. It's called Marriage Encounter. It has been 3 children since we met, driving each other mad with insults and kisses. You with your machismo resolve that males should be dominant, me ridiculing your naivete from the bottom of the pond where we sink to hide from prying Puritan eyes. Mudcats and tadpoles wander by, glubbing their open mouths like the gossips on shore, deliberating when we might arise. This next poem is a poem I wrote about my sister and I. We took a trip down the west coast of the west coast of California together, and this is what came out of it. Driving Through the Rain, West Coast, 2005. How can this be? My sister seems to be the one who fears the storm. Her hands blind her eyes as I steer the car through dark water where Mill Creek, rised with the driving rain, flows across the gravel road. I am the one who feared heights, left on the light so I could sleep, churned the sheets while she lay motionless, holding the quilt against my havoc, when I roll over and stagger out of bed to rid my mind of midnight spiders scrambling up the blankets. She presses hard against the floorboards, her foot acts without control, while I pressed calmly on the accelerator and become Brunhilde, a Valkyrie, conquering hero in the face of the storm. Unblinking in the driver's seat, I hurtle into wet and pounding oblivion. A man, soggy newspaper held over his head, crouching under lashes of rain, scuttles like a ghost crab, pale and sideways, then is gone. I am alone with the storm and my sister, yet apart from her. She fears the storm. I feared our swing set and playing on the roof hid myself in the closet for hours until Mother dragged me out into the family. I don't need her to hold my hand anymore. I trust no one, yet rejoice in the ferocity of the tempest. My last poem in the book is really bluesy. I had finished most of the work I wanted to do, and my husband said, "Well, you don't have any poems about me." So I wrote one, and it's called Widow's Lament. My husband is very much alive, but this is for James. You are gone now. The house is silent. No one attends me. The opulence of Strauss no longer calls me to you. The hammer of jazz is my accompaniment. I will stay to myself like the saltwater crocodile or shark who have no friends. I will be silent as the barn owl at night, finding quarry for its outlets. Lest I draw attention to myself, the library will be my protector. The sound of pages turning, the scent of paper and dust fill my senses.
You know, I was just thinking as I drove to Wichita today that an author can take a whole paragraph to set the imagery of a scene, but poets, they really have to be tight. They have to capture that in just a few words. I did forget to mention, and everybody knows I do something like this every time we film, but I forgot to mention that Colleen is a published poet, and she's authored several novels. Now, the fun part. We want to know a secret about why you chose to write these particular poems, one, or just you can pick any of them, or just something that kind of you can share with our viewers. It's something you don't normally tell.
Well, I tend to write blues poetry. It's rarely, Marriage Encounter is the one poem that I picked out to read today that is kind of happy. But Moer is a sad poem about a young woman who's lost her spouse or her lover. And I was looking through my book this morning, and I've got lots of blues poems. That's what seems to come out, although I'm not a normally sad person, but that's what comes out in my poetry.
Well, it's surprising. I used to write poetry a long time ago, but I either wrote when I was really happy or really down. So you're a little bit different than I am. But we have enjoyed having you with us so much today, Colleen. We appreciate you coming.
Thank you. I've appreciated being asked.
And that's it for Keyhole Conversations. Stop by next week and we'll have another goodie for you.